So when it comes to politics, I think it's really interesting. A lot of the times we assume that evangelicals and Christians are just turned off over abortion or social issues, and that's part of it when it comes to Democrats. But they're also turned off over religious freedom, over the handling of First Amendment issues. There are some real, I think, issues here to extrapolate and talk about. And when we look at Senator Kamala Harris, the VP candidate who is now on Joe Biden's Democratic ticket, I think we're going to see that she sparks some newfound fears and worries over religious liberty. So let's look at some of the issues. Let's look first at the fact that she is staunchly pro-choice. Now, that's her right, but it's something that's going to make some people uncomfortable. She and Biden are already being called the most pro-abortion presidential ticket in American history, and we have quotes where she said things like, "As president, I will stop dangerous state laws restricting reproductive rights before they go into effect." She's also said women have value. Women have authority to make decisions about their own lives and their own bodies. Now, Christians would argue that every life has value, obviously, but that's a separate issue. We've talked about abortion. We know that's going to be a big issue for her. But the second thing, religious liberty concerns. She sent a tweet, I think it was last August, where she was responding to news that the Trump administration was pushing for federal contractors to be able to hire and fire based on religious beliefs. And she said, quote, "The freedom to worship is one of our nation's most cherished and fundamental rights, but it should never be used to discriminate or undermine other American civil rights." Now, a quote like that catches attention, right? You start to think, is she going to defend the First Amendment? Are people allowed to live those rights out at home or in the workplace? And sure, she was speaking about a specific situation that was controversial, but that never language is going to stick with people, especially considering that Harris spoke out fervently against Hobby Lobby and their case about contraception. If you remember, they were successful, but she was a big proponent of the government stance on that position. Now, we also know that an initial draft of the Democratic platform for 2020 talked about not really making those religious accommodations. It sort of spoke out against the Trump administration's stance on that, and that's a big issue for Christians. But maybe the most damaging quote for Harris came in 2018 when she posed some strange questions to then nominee Brian Buescher. He was up for a spot as a federal district judge, and she started interrogating him about his membership in a Catholic group called Knights of Columbus. Now, these are the guys who are known for such antics as feeding the poor and helping their fellow man. She said, "Were you aware that the Knights of Columbus opposed a woman's right to choose when you joined their organization?" She also asked some pressing questions about marriage and other issues. Now listen, everybody's entitled to their rights, including Harris, to believe whatever they want to believe, but when politicians go out of their way, especially Democrats, to make religious people look crazy or weird for the positions that they hold, it not only seems to create a litmus test in some of these circumstances, but it does these people no favors in the eyes of Christians, of people they're trying to reach. And so I think we're going to have to wait and see how this all plays out. I think we need to be praying for Biden, for Harris, for Trump, for Pence, for every politician on any side and every side of the aisle, but I think we need to understand why so many Christians are uncomfortable or skeptical when it comes to Democrats. And I think the Biden-Harris team has to take these things into consideration, and we're going to have to wait and see. Are they going to be fair on religious liberty? Are they not? But those quotes and those past examples do give you a lens into who Kamala Harris is when it comes to these First Amendment issues.